Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the For Every Beautiful Body YouTube series. Today, I'm joined by Charlotte, who is the current reigning Mrs. Galaxy Australia 2026. After a short break from the stage, she has returned not only as a dedicated wife and specialist clinical nurse, but also the mother of a beautiful 2-year-old boy. Her platform is strongly associated with children's health and family welfare, helping wherever she can to make a difference both in her community and beyond. Hi, Charlotte. How are you today?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Of course. No, we absolutely cannot wait to hear more about you and your journey. So, thank you for taking the time to come on with us today. So, basically, that's quite a full introduction with lots of things that's going on in your life. So, can you tell us a little bit more and elaborate on that for us about all the moving parts that you have going on?
Look, there are a lot of moving parts, and I somehow managed to keep them all up and moving at the same time, which astounds even me. So, look, I have returned to the stage. The last time I was there was in 2022, and of course, with the Galaxy system, how could I not come back after I got married in September and the door opened for me to come back? And it was an offer that I couldn't refuse, and there was definitely for me a lot of unfinished business and so much more fire left in my belly and a dream that never went away. So it only made sense to me to come back and chase that dream once again. I come back as a woman who's a lot stronger, a lot more sure of herself, and definitely has a lot more fire in her belly. So I've learned, I've grown, and I cannot wait to come back to the Galaxy system. So bring
Amazing.
it.
That's it. Internationals is not far away. We leave I think I leave next week. Next Thursday.
Yeah, I fly out Saturday next week, so
Yeah.
it's getting very, very close. I don't know where the time has gone.
I know it's gone really quickly, but I feel like that's always the way. So
Mm.
I cannot wait. And I'm so excited to experience the week with you together over there. I absolutely cannot wait.
It's
So,
going to be awesome.
yes, in the Bahamas, of course. But you have an amazing story, an amazing platform, an amazing why behind who you are and what you advocate for. And we at For Every Beautiful Body really want to get to know the person behind the crown and the system. And as much as your title is incredible and you have worked so hard for it, there's been so many things that has kind of led you to where you are today. So we'd love to delve in a little bit about this. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey with chronic illness and your autoimmune disease and kind of how that has impacted your everyday life, your work life, your life as a mother, as a title holder? Um, I know that you have it, but can you explain a little bit more about what it is and how that's impacted you?
Look, I know you are such an advocate for invisible illness, and I stand united with you. So I have an autoimmune disorder or a disease, they call it. So basically, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I've had it for I was diagnosed about 10 years ago. So I would have been, yeah, maybe 25, 26. And that is quite young. So not very many people my age have it when I was first done. Um, it started as one finger and I was playing netball at the time and it blew up. So you know how you jar your finger at netball and it kind of swells up?
Yeah,
I thought, no, mate, I would have known if I jarred my finger at netball, you know?
yeah.
And then probably 2 or 3 days later, the finger on the other hand went, I was like, I wasn't playing netball. So
Mhm.
then all of a sudden, the next day after that, my hands completely swelled and I was in so much pain. It was riddled throughout my whole body, my shoulders, both my knees, my feet are some very common areas that you get it. I couldn't do up buttons. I couldn't zip a shirt. I couldn't tie my shoelaces. I was pretty much bedbound with the pain and the swelling and the inflammation in my body. It crippled me.
Wow.
And just to give a little bit of context on what that feels like, especially in your feet, it feels like you are walking on shattered glass and you can't get the glass out of your feet. So imagine that. So I went to my doctor and took one look at me and referred me to a specialist straight away. And of course, it takes weeks for that to happen. So in the meantime, you're on steroids, and which are awful, and anti-inflammatories. But unfortunately, my disease flared so quickly and so fast that none of it was working.
Mm.
So I went through months and months and months of trials, tribulations, medications. I can't begin to tell you how many medications I've tried and failed. And you work through the whole thing, and the PBS obviously cover a lot of this.
Mm.
And you have to jump through those hoops to get to the PBS requirements. So you can't just skip to what you know is going to work. You have to go through the whole lot. And that was really painful, but necessary. So we finally got my disease under control, and it took 6 to 12 months of just uncontrollable pain, and it taught me a lot and how grateful I should be for my health and my body. And yeah, it's taught me a lot over the last few years just to be grateful for all the things that I have. And unfortunately, it probably will be, I'll be in a wheelchair by the time I'm 60. But luckily I have some really amazing specialists looking after me who manage my disease incredibly well, and I'm so grateful for that. And our healthcare system is honestly one of the best in the world, and I can say that as a nurse. Our healthcare system is fantastic.
Yeah. And that's awesome. I think like knowing that you have a body that, doesn't kind of isn't perfect and doesn't do
Mm,
everything that you wish or wanted it to do or didn't want it to do, and then still having that mentality now. And it probably took you quite a while to go, I'm grateful for what my body can do and what it's capable of doing, rather than,
mm,
being upset at it for what it is doing to you as such. I think
yeah.
it's a really beautiful mindset and outlook on it too that can be really hard to get to. And I can totally relate to that too.
Yeah.
But I think having that, also like specialist and nursing background yourself and seeing kind of all the behind the scenes of it as well is something that probably helped you and your mindset, and but also I think could help so many other people as well. So thank you for sharing
Mm.
a little bit about
I
that.
think as I think as well with chronic disease, like it gets to a point where you're like, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Like this is the story
Yeah.
that I've been written.
Hmm.
And I'm going to do my best to live every day with this condition.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the way I look at it. This is this part of my story, and I'll keep reading that story. And and there's going to be days that are awful, and there's going to be really great days, and you've just got to take it with a pinch of salt and
Yeah.
really embrace the good days, because when they're bad, but
Yeah.
when they're good.
Yeah.
So you just got to embrace it.
Absolutely. Embrace your trajectory for sure.
No.
Oh, the joys of living with a chronic illness. So many
Yay.
yay for us. But so
I
many
know.
people are like fighting these battles that sometimes, and it sounds like yours was quite. Would you say that your chronic illness was visible on the outside to some people?
It
Yeah.
was. So a lot of with rheumatoid, it's a whole body inflammation. My body was attacking its joints from the inside, thinking it was a foreign body. And yeah, so all of your tissues and your cartilage and from your joints
Mhm.
swell, and they go like red and purple. And they actually have deformities in my thumbs now,
Yeah.
because my joints are actually completely fused in my thumbs.
Oh my God.
So um, yeah, it is absolutely visible.
Yeah.
Not necessarily when people walk past you, but you
Yes.
point it out and people know. So,
Yeah.
and then when I have you go through flares, as you would know, as chronic illness. It never goes away. You have your good days and your bad days. The chronic illness, when it flares, is horrendous.
Yeah.
And then you have to go on the steroids, and then you get something called moon face. So I actually had moon face at nationals because I was having a flare just before I got on the plane. So I had to go onto steroids. So in a lot of my photos, I look like my face is really round at the bottom.
Oh,
Um,
I
so
could.
yeah, fun
I
fact.
would
I was
never.
going through a flare at nationals.
I would never have
But
known that.
yeah, crazy, hey. So yeah, it's absolutely visible, but a lot
Yeah.
of the time it's so well managed that people wouldn't know.
Yeah,
unless I told them.
for
Yeah.
sure. And I think that's like something that we talk about with invisible illnesses, but I don't think we talk about enough that like an invisible illness can still be visible. And that doesn't mean you have to have
Mm,
like bruises or like anything like marks or anything on your body.
mm,
But like to the people around you, when you're hurting and when you're in pain, like it is still
mhm.
visible. And I think that's
Absolutely.
very important to like talk about as well because invisible illnesses, like there definitely is categories that are
Mm,
100% visible. But then there's that kind of like in between that we don't really talk about where it's like it's still visible, but it's also invisible at the same time. You can't see it
mm,
to the, untrained eye. But if there's other
mm,
people around you, it's definitely noticeable too. And there's so
mm,
many people that are living with a chronic illness and fighting these battles that aren't visible to kind of the untrained eye. But I guess what do you wish that more people understood about your disease, but also chronic illness and disease
mm,
in general, as well as kind of like the chronic
mm.
pain that comes with it? What would you want them to understand?
Look, I don't expect people to understand. And I think that's the important part.
Mhm,
I don't expect them to sympathize with me or understand what that feels like for the vast majority of people around the world.
mhm,
Um, I do want them to understand that, bodies are gonna do what they're gonna do regardless, and this is just what mine does. So and yours does.
yeah.
So I just think I need to understand just to be kind.
Mm,
Um, and kindness goes a really long way when you're not feeling the best.
yeah.
And you don't know the battles that people are fighting. So just be kind. And that's just the bottom line of it.
100%. And I think, that's such an important thing that you raised too is that I think we spend so long trying to get people to sympathize, understand with us what we're going through, but then they're never going to fully understand because they're not going through it themselves. So if we can just teach people to be patient, be patient.
And be kind, be patient, be kind. You don't know the battles that people fight. Like if people were to look at you and I, they wouldn't know the battles that we fight.
100.
And I just think the blanket rule is just to be kind to people because you just don't know the battles that they fight, whether they're going through a mental health battle, whether they're going through a physical battle, an emotional battle. Just be kind.
Yeah, 100%. Such an important message. So, I guess how has your health journey kind of impacted the way that you view your body, your outlook on life, particularly during times when like your body wasn't working with you? Is that something that you struggled with kind of mental health wise or something that you struggled to, I guess, come to terms with? And how has that kind of progressed into the now?
Mm. Well, when I was originally diagnosed many years ago, I was like, why me?
Mm,
Like, why? I'm too young for this. I'm too young to be told I'm riddled with arthritis. Like, I'm 25. So it came as a really big shock, but having a little bit of like a nursing background, I knew what that meant. I wasn't naive when it came to that. So um look, the way that I approached it was just to uh, how do I explain this? One thing that I really wanted to do was to keep moving.
mhm,
And exercise was a really big thing for me.
mhm,
And it still is now.
mhm,
Um, I find when I stop moving, it all starts to fall apart. So
mhm,
for me, exercise is not only good for my mental health, it's medicinal for my physical health
mhm,
and my chronic disease. So that's how I chose to manage it, and that's how I chose to look after it and look after myself. So
mhm,
yeah, the exercise and just giving myself breathing space and giving myself just loving myself a little bit more. And I really struggled to do that over the years, especially when I come from a background of just like body dysmorphia and yeah, body image issues. Just learning to love myself was really really hard with chronic disease again. So as the years have gone by, I definitely feel a lot better about it, and it's taken a long, long time to do that.
yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, it's I guess, you know, back to what we were speaking about before, like having trying other to people to understand and be patient with you,
mm,
but then also trying to have that understanding and patience with yourself too. And it
mm,
sounds like that's something that you've really tried to practice, which, is a
mm.
beautiful thing in itself. And that kind of comes with the unconditional love for yourself that comes in those things too. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the joys. Um,
Ah,
so you have so many roles, as we spoke about before. You're a mother, you're a wife, you're a nurse, you're a pageant title holder, you do all of these amazing volunteer projects. You have so much going on. And so, living, I guess, with a disease and a chronic illness, how do you like balance the responsibilities of and potential demands of your everyday kind of work and home life, but also prioritizing your health and your well-being? Do you have anything in particular that you try and do to kind of fit that time in to look after yourself as well?
look, I am very short on time.
Mhm.
So luckily, I have an amazing support village around me, including my phenomenal husband, who is my biggest cheerleader. So he literally allows me the space to do that, to give some time back to myself. And he allows that by letting me go for a walk or, need to go have a coffee by myself. He allows me to do that, and he can read me like a book too. So before I even say anything, he knows exactly what he needs to do for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's one thing I do to manage that in between everything else. I don't get a lot of time for myself. And I was just having this discussion with a friend earlier is keeping cups full. And life is about juggling and filling your, not just your cup, but everybody else's. And with this industry that we're in with pageantry, we give so much to everyone else that we often forget about ourselves.
Mhm.
And that was a little bit of an epiphany I had tonight was, when was the last time I did something for myself? So I'm making that a bit of a priority this weekend. Yeah. So the answer to that is no, I don't get a lot of time for myself, but when I do, it really is quality time for me. And my beautiful husband and family allow me to do that in between this chaotic life we have as pageant queens. So yeah, that's me.
Definitely can relate. And I think
Mm,
the one thing that you said, and it was the first sentence that you said about having a support village behind you. And
mm,
my answer to this question every single time, it's like, what do you do for yourself? And it's like, well, I wouldn't be able to do things for myself if I didn't have these amazing other people around me helping me
mm,
prioritize myself too. And I think if
mm,
you can invest in the people that are around you and really
mm,
knowing that those are your people as such,
mm,
there's going to be so much reward that's going to come back to you as well because they're
mm,
really invested in helping you in life. So I love
mm,
that you found those people for yourself. And a little piggyback question on that. What is it that so if you were to spend like an entire day to yourself, which I hope you're going to do on the weekend, what,
Darling, I've got a toddler. I can't even pee by myself. What are you talking about?
never mind then, an entire day to prioritize hopefully yourself in some aspect. What is like your ideal day? What is something that you want to do? What is something that you're going to do on the weekend to kind of prioritize that?
I'm absolutely getting a massage this weekend. I used to be a sports and remedial masseuse and a beautician back in the day, so
Oh,
I know how like therapeutic and energy charging massage and healing touch is. So I am going to get a massage this weekend.
love
So I cannot wait. I
that.
cannot wait.
Oh, sounds fabulous. Honestly, a
Mm,
massage is quite literally life-changing sometimes.
isn't it?
Oh,
Isn't it?
gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well, I love that you're taking that time for yourself, especially with a huge couple of weeks ahead for you as well. So, very important to prioritize your mental health and your physical well-being too. So, where you're at like kind of this point in motherhood, and you have a beautiful, you know, like child, and it's just amazing that you're kind of stepping into this totally different chapter in your life. You just got married, you've had a baby. There's so many things that kind of people, dream of that era in their life for so long. And you're kind of living it, I guess, at the moment. So has that kind of change the way you think about life, about yourself, about self-worth, body image, all those sorts of things? Has kind of this new era with this amazing support network around you changed the way that you view that as well?
Mm. Look, something that you said just like made me have a little light bulb moment. So you said the words, you've just easily stepped into motherhood.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, stepping into motherhood is one of the most challenging things that you'll ever do.
Hmm.
I personally
Hmm.
really struggled with it, and I went through some pretty awful postpartum depression and anxiety. And yeah, it's a very dark place.
Hmm.
And you've got this beautiful child and you love them to death,
Yeah.
but you are just so emotionally and mentally withdrawn.
Mm.
And that is so hard to try and like pull yourself out of that that dark place.
Yeah.
And it's very strange.
Mm.
You're okay for the first few months,
Yeah.
then your hormone shift changes and you just plummet. And
Yeah.
I hit the wall hard.
Okay.
Um, it got to the point where I was literally slamming the laundry door and locking myself in the laundry
Mm.
and just crying for hours and hours and hours. And that's the reality of postpartum depression. And
Yeah.
this happens to millions of women around the world, but they don't talk about it because they feel ashamed or guilty or, upset that they feel this way. And I want women to know that their feelings are valid.
Mm.
That is totally valid.
Yeah.
No matter how much you love your child or how much you love being a mother, you can't even override those feelings.
Yeah.
Um, so again, support village around me. I know I'm a great mom,
Mm.
and it took a lot to pull myself out of that. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't mean that you're a bad mom during that time.
No,
And
definitely.
in fact, it made me a lot stronger,
Hmm.
and made me more aware of my feelings.
Hmm.
So I learned a lot from that. So that's the first thing.
Hmm.
Second thing is, yes, I have absolutely stepped into all these roles, um, and I do embrace them, and it's made me such a stronger woman and a great wife and a great mother. So I'm really grateful for all these amazing journeys that have come my way. And I think with life, you grow at every stage that you go through. We're forever evolving, and I'm so grateful to be forever evolving as a wife and as a mother and as a nurse and a queen and a friend and a brother. Sorry, a sister. Like I'm forever evolving, and I'm grateful for that journey.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that. And I think you sharing your story and your journey and willing to be vulnerable, it just, like, in my opinion, it takes one person to speak up, and then everyone else will slowly start speaking up. And
Mm,
it's just like this ripple effect. And some people won't, and some people will, be comfortable or maybe not so comfortable keeping to themselves.
mm,
But as soon as people start talking about things, that's when we start to see real change. So I
mm.
applaud you for speaking up and sharing your story, because it's definitely not something that would be easy to speak about either.
No, because I think a lot of people view it as a negative thing. And I'm like, it's not. It's
Yeah,
real.
it is.
This is a real thing that happened to women. And I want to share my story to let other women know that, their feelings are valid. And I hear you and I stand with you and I've been there and I've out the other side.
Yeah,
And I think that's really important that you show women that.
100%. Yeah. We all stand together. That's the women.
United.
Unite.
Unite.
I love it. I love it. So I guess on that note, what would you say to somebody who is struggling with, maybe postpartum depression or does have a chronic illness or does have body image issues or does have depression? What would you say to them that you maybe wanted to hear or kind of, what you needed to hear? What, like, it doesn't need to be like one thing, but kind of what would you have needed in that time?
There's probably two sayings that come to mind is there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm.
Because there's always light at the end of darkness is be the first one. And it's not a bad life, it's just a bad day.
Mm.
So that was the other thing. That the two things I always say to myself. It's not a bad life, you're just having a bad day. And for a lot of people, that's very comforting. Well, it is for me, at least. And it resonates with so many people. So they're the two things I always think about. And if I was to say to any women going through what I have, you're going to be okay.
Mhm.
It's tough, but you're going to be okay. And you're going to be a better version than yourself coming out the back end of this.
Yeah, amazing. And I think that comes
Mm,
off we're constantly forever evolving. And I think
mm,
it's allowing ourselves the space to do that and that no journey is linear either.
mm,
I think that's like, I guess, very similar to the sayings that you just said too. And it's light at the end, there's a light at the end of the tunnel is one that I always say, and I always say it to
mm.
myself. And I think it's, it's such a beautiful sum up of so many things that
There's
people talk.
so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. I love it. Amazing. Well, if you could on this similar journey and another note, if you could go back and speak to your younger self. Now this might be, the Charlotte that got diagnosed or the Charlotte that was going through postpartum depression or the Charlotte that got bullied in school or, any version of your younger self, what would you say to her? What would you want her to know? And what would you try and instill in her?
Look, I think about this question a lot. And I think when I first thought about it, I was like, God, she wouldn't want to know what I want to tell her, the poor girl. Um, but if I really think about it, I think I just want to tell her that everything's going to be okay.
Mm,
And again, not a bad life, just a bad day. And I had a lot of bad days, especially growing up in high school. I was bullied
mm,
quite badly. And I think the scariest part is the people that bullied me didn't even know that they were doing it. And I think that is the scariest part
mm,
when it comes to high school and childhood bullying is they don't know the impact of their words and their actions until it's too late.
yeah.
So I was bullied quite awfully in high school. I spent a lot of lunch hours in the principal's office.
Mm,
My mum in the principal's office. Um, I grew up in a family of boys. So a little bit of background is I've got four brothers and I get along really well with boys. Like all I know is how to talk to boys
yeah.
because that is all I know.
Yeah.
So obviously coming into high school, a lot of my friends were boys.
Mm,
I played a lot of sport. I was really active in the school community, and yeah, it was just natural that boys picked me first in the sports class,
yeah.
or like you know, and I wasn't like the prettiest girl in the school. I was actually quite a tomboy in high school. So believe it or not, I was a tomboy.
Yeah.
So as obviously the hormones go through high school and girls realize or your friends start to realize that the boys want to talk to you over them,
Mhm,
it becomes a jealousy thing.
mhm.
And I think I didn't know it at the time, but looking back now as some being a bit older, that's probably what it was, and I'll never know the answer,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
um but yeah, that I just had a lot more friends that were boys because that was all who I knew how to speak to.
Mm,
And one thing that changed my perception of like female friendships
mhm.
was pageantry. and
Mhm.
the dynamic of women, yes,
Yep.
the dynamic of women supporting other women with all the same cause and a common goal of making impact and sisterhood. Like I had never seen anything like it.
Mhm.
And I did pageantry when I was a late starter, I assume. I was like 24.
Mhm.
And this sisterhood of pageantry completely flipped my interpretation of female friendships on its head.
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful for the pageant industry to show me this incredible network of women. And from then, it's blown my mind. And I'm so grateful to be part of it.
Yeah. No.
So that's my story about bullying.
Yeah. No. And I think, you know, what you said about like bullies not knowing that they're doing it, and
Mm,
it's like I honestly don't think that's something that we speak about a lot either, is that some
mm,
people, and unfortunately it's no excuse, but some
mm,
people genuinely, in the way that they are brought up, in their mannerisms, they literally sometimes are so unaware of what they're doing until it's too
mm,
late, and how that
yeah.
actually affects somebody's whole trajectory of what their life could be like in some
Mm,
way, shape, or form. That is really sad at the end of the day. But
mm,
yeah, I totally agree with you, and we have a very similar journey in that pageantry just gave you this beautiful sisterhood of women, but like all around the world, that you
mm,
need to see them every day. You comment on their posts and still act like, be best friends and send them a message every now and then, but everyone's always there to cheer you on. Everyone
mm,
always wants the best for you. Everyone always wants to uplift you and support you.
mm,
And I think that's such a rare thing in this world, is that
mm,
level of human connection, but also human connection within women that is just very underrated.
yeah. Pageantry, full stop.
Full
Like
stop.
that is
Period.
what, like, period.
Yeah.
Like, people have no idea how beautiful pageantry is. And you don't, I'm not talking about, oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about something so much bigger than that.
100%.
Pageantry is beautiful for so many things. Pageantry is beautiful for friendships, connection, worldwide impact,
Mhm.
um, so many things. And I wish the world knew this side of the beautiful part of pageantry.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what we're doing, trying to get that message out there, especially from the galaxy system. So yes, I
Yes.
absolutely love it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's such an important and beautiful message. So I guess for our last little question today, in one sentence, could you describe what the words "for every beautiful body" personally mean to you?
I think the words every beautiful body means to me is that everyone's perfectly imperfect.
Mm,
And everybody is perfect in their own particular way. No matter how imperfect you are still perfect. And that is what every beautiful body means to me.
I love it. I love it. Well, Charlotte, thank you so much for coming on today. I have had the biggest joy and pleasure of speaking to you tonight, and I absolutely can't wait to watch your journey and be with you, next week as well. So I am so grateful for you taking the time to speak with me.
I'm stoked. It's been a really, really lovely time, and I cannot wait to share this amazing journey in the Bahamas with you. I have watched your journey for such a long time, and to be a part of is it warms the cockles of my heart. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey. And yeah, this is only the beginning, and I can't wait to see all the amazing things that you do. I'm so in awe of you.
Oh, that means the absolute world to me, and I feel the exact same way about you. So, yeah, you are such an inspiration to me, but also to so many people. And I can't wait for everybody to listen to this episode and find a little bit more about who Charlotte is beyond being Mrs. Galaxy Australia 2026. So, again, thank you so much for coming on. I will pop Charlotte's Instagram in the description below so that everyone can make sure to follow and so that we can watch her journey unfold to internationals and beyond.
Yay, I'm so excited. Stay tuned, everyone.